So you already know I'm a big believer of mental and emotional treatment therapy. So I want to talk a little bit about how is that going to help us in life? How do you treat a situation that you can't see? How do you treat emotions? And if something bad happened in my past, we have no control over what's happened, right? How is working through my emotions and my subconscious perception of what had happened is going to help me change? And I can understand that's kind of like a far-fetched concept. So the concept that I'd like to stress and for you to maybe think about is we don't have to change what's happened, only the way we feel about it. I'll give you the perfect example. So there's a few siblings, they grew up in the same house. Let's say there was a house with some trauma, whether it's violence, difficult parenting, whatever it is. We've got one that's the overachiever and has built a successful life for them, and everybody's so amazed and proud with them. Then you got the sibling that somehow got royally screwed. They're depressed, they're anxious, they've got eating disorders. And then you've got the third one who just kind of wants to live his own quiet life. So he backs away from family, living a humble life in a forest somewhere and minding their own business. But we're saying that the main issue was the way they grew up. So the issue was there in the past of all three of them. How is it possible that each one of them has taken it into a completely different direction? It's not about what has happened, because we all go through difficult stuff. The important thing, and that is very individual to every single person, is how did our brain perceive what was happening around us? And we base sometimes our entire life on that set of perceptions that we got when we were young. What that teaches us is that a single event that has happened is not what we need to worry about changing. What we need to fix is how we feel about it. And the thing is, when we're young, our brain is not developed enough to make always the best perceptions. For example, if a mother for whatever reason had to give up their child, nobody in their right mind when they're adults would think that she enjoyed doing that. Nobody in their right mind would think that she just hated the baby so much that she decided to give it up. There's always reasoning behind it. But the problem is we make most of those perceptions when we're very young and the brain is not even developed enough. So we would think, oh, mommy doesn't love me anymore. Oh, I must have done something wrong to deserve that. So it's so skewed a lot of times. And this is why we use mental treatment, emotional treatment. We try to go back to those scenarios. We try to replay it. We use guided imagery and theta healing, kinesiology and muscle testing and hypnosis and NLP, a million different techniques, just in order to tune back into those old perceptions in our brain and reanalyze them with the brain capacity that we have now as adults. So what I'm saying should be very positive to you. What it basically means is that there is no need to change the past. There's no need to touch the past. But we definitely sometimes have to look straight into it so that we can acknowledge and look at it from a more neutral perspective. That helps us forgive different people. It helps us forgive ourselves. It helps us let go of baggage and weight that we're just carrying on ourselves because of a very old perception. People call it the record, right? You play an old record from the 50s, the 60s, and it's freaking 2000. So what we're doing with subconscious therapy is we're tuning into that old record that keeps on playing around. We lift up the needle, we move it away, and then we look at it and see, what is wrong with the song that I'm listening to? Should we change the lyrics a bit? Should we change up the melody and just fit it to our day-to-day life now? So we're not basing our decisions and our conclusions and our feelings towards ourselves and other people and relationships because of something that happened 50 years ago. Plus, you don't even need a record. Heck, you don't even need a CD. You don't even need a USB or an MP3. You just need to have a music subscription to a streaming service, streaming the right music for you now. I obviously got a little bit carried away with a metaphor, but if that made any sense at all to you, if you're not sure, if you want to ask any question, want to make comments, as usual, put them below and I'll do my very best to respond, and just keep happy in the meantime.